Today's Wednesday, it's the 24th of April, it's 2024, and I've got a little bit of news for you. Anita's gone off to do her knitting today, so I'm a bit left on my own. And first thing is about overcrowding on the islands, and this has been in the news a lot, particularly in the Canary Islands, but also here in Mallorca, with people protesting that we just have too many tourists on the island at certain times of the year. And well, it's true, the island does get very crowded, and I think it's more serious in the Canaries than it is here, but here there's quite a lobby trying to reduce the amount of tourism that there is on the island. And the government's decided, well, they want to quantify this, they want to work out just how much tourism there is, and what they've decided to do is to count how many people there are on a beach. They've not actually decided yet, or at least they've not disclosed yet, which beach they're going to be measuring, but they have indicated on how they're going to do it. And it's all to do with mobile phones. They're going to count how many mobile phones there are on a particular beach at any particular time, and that's going to give us some numbers and decide whether the beach is overcrowded or not. What they do with those numbers, well, it's not absolutely clear yet, but one of the suggestions is that certain areas could be have restricted access, maybe stopping cars getting there, reducing the amount of parking if they start to become overcrowded. But they wanted to get the numbers first before they actually decide on what they're going to do. Another area where overcrowding seems to have taken over is in the cycling sector. Mallorca has become a destination for cyclists, particularly in the Tramontana. That's the mountain range that runs along the west coast, and cyclists seem to love going up on those mountains and down, up and down, and it's caused a lot of congestion and a few problems in certain areas. And I think this weekend is going to be quite something, because we do have the big cycling tour competition which is going on, and a lot of the roads in the mountains will be cut off. Not sure what they're going to do about this. They want to encourage cycling. It's something that's slightly off season, and so it does extend the holiday season here in Majorca, but they do need to work out how they're going to control the amount of saturation that occurs up in the mountains, particularly around the Yucca area and down towards the beaches down there. Magalluf, well, if you've been to Magalluf or to Palma in the recent days, there are no sunbeds there. A few have started to appear in Palma we've seen, but there are no large amounts of sunbeds or parasols, and I've been mentioning this for the past few weeks. The season seemed to start very early this year. Easter was early, and a lot of people came out for Easter and just after Easter, but there's no beds and no parasols. Apparently the reason for this, according to Calvia, is that they were hacked earlier on in the year and their computers went down, and that's caused all sorts of delays. Hopefully they're going to get that sorted in the next few weeks, and well, it's only now another week or so to May, and they really need to get it sorted by then. They say they will do. Last year I was on a bus and I recorded a picture of a sinkhole that appeared in the middle of the Avenidas, and on the same day two other sinkholes appeared, and it was quite spectacular what we saw. Really big holes. It exposed some different archaeology, and that caused a little bit of a problem for the people who wanted to repair it. The archaeologists wanted to have a look to see what was down there. Well, they were sorted out and cleaned up within a few hours. But today actually, another sinkhole has appeared, and a pipe burst, lots of flooding, and well, that one's another one that's going to be repaired. They reckon it'll be done by later on this afternoon, and normal circumstances should be resumed by the evening. Everywhere you go in Mallorca there just seems to be work going on, and I'm quite surprised at the moment I'm not being interrupted by workers doing some hammering or whatever, but it's fairly quiet at the moment, just the wind and the chimes. But anywhere you go in Mallorca, you'll find there's still lots and lots of work going on and lots of propositions. We had a change of government last summer, and they decided to shelve some things and promote some other things. One of the things that caught my eye was the Plaza, which is the Juan Carlos I Plaza, which is in front of C&A, and it's got an obelisk there and a fountain, and it's known as the Turtle Fountain because the obelisk is actually supported by some turtles. And it's often a place where the Real Mallorca fans go and congregate when we win a match. Well, more on that later. Anyway, the new government has decided that all needs to be remodelled and pedestrianised a little bit more, and so we can expect to see some proposals and some work in that area. This is something that tourist tax is going to be spent on. So some people did ask, what happens to tourist tax? We pay this tourist tax to the hotel, where does it go? Well, however much this money costs, this is going to be one of the topics where the tourist tax is going to be paid. Another consequence of the overcrowding that we've been talking about is that the buses are getting full already. And this is a particular problem for workers who are trying to get to work in the morning and the bus goes sailing by because it's full. So as of next week, the TIB is starting to put on extra buses on certain routes that are particularly congested, and hopefully that will ease the situation. Yesterday was St George's Day, and there were a number of events that were supposed to be going on in Palma Nova to promote St George's Day as a way of Calvia Council thanking the English tourists. Well, most of them were cancelled because the weather was not very good. We've had some terrible weather recently. Again, more on that in a moment. But some things did go on, and the one I attended was a presentation by Paul Avery of Palma Pictures, who came and told us a little bit about the history of Palma Pictures. And I guess I'm one that was there more or less at the very beginning. Apparently Palma Pictures started just over 30 years ago, and 30 years ago their office was in Mallorca and Palma, and I remember going there as a potential participant in one of their videos, and I must have done a screen test, and well, I was chosen, and I did an advert for them for Kodak, and you can tell how old it was. It was for Kodak film, and the advertisement was to promote Kodak films for cameras. And we shot the film partly on the Playa de Palma in a shop that sold them, and partly in the Trans-Mediterranean offices, which are now actually a police station. It was great fun, very interesting, and Adam, my son, was involved with the shooting as well. And since then I've done several other little jobs with them, and always found them really interesting. And Paul was explaining how many people are actually involved with just a simple shoot like that. So a simple shoot where you've got a location which has to be found, but all of the people that are involved around there just to actually make a very short, maybe 2-minute advertisement is incredible. Those days they had about 10 people working in Palma Pictures, and that's now grown to over 60. And Palma Pictures has representatives all over the world now, as far away as California, England, Portugal, Madrid, and of course here is where they're based in Palma. And they make things from advertisement to TV series to blockbuster films. And for people like Netflix, Apple TV, for BBC and ITV, all the film companies, TV companies throughout the world, advertisements for top brands like Nike and Burberry, Coca-Cola, all of them have been videoed here with the help of Palma Pictures. They moved out of their small office in Mallorca, and they now have a magnificent studio in Majorca. And that's got a production centre with over 4,500 square metres of surface, and it's quite an impressive place with all the things you'd expect of a film studio. And during the talk that Paul gave, he was particularly talking about the crown, which some people have already told me they were in various parts of the island last year and they saw the crown being filmed. And he did manage to show us some of the clips from the series and how they were done. So that was really interesting and a great way to start off the St George's Day celebrations, which will be continuing today. There's some sporting activities on the beach. Weather's a bit better, so hopefully all of those things will go on, and things going right on through into the weekend, mainly now in the Palma area. Hopefully the weather will be okay for those. I'm interested in archaeology, as you may have picked up on some of the videos, and some of the places we go and see are archaeological remains. And Mallorca has got an abundance of archaeological remains. It's an island in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, so it's been visited over thousands of years by people from all different lands. And one of them, of course, is the Romans. The Romans settled here in the early days there. And one thing that came up a few weeks ago, and I mentioned, was that there was a ship that had sank off the Playa de Palma, and they're going to do some excavations. Well, the latest news I have on that is that they've now found some coins, and the coins give them a more reliable date. They weren't actually sure exactly what the date was, but now from the coins they've worked out that it was 4th century. In fact, they've dated it down almost to 320 AD. So we've got a pretty good date, and I'm really looking forward to more information as that archaeological survey continues, and well, maybe we'll start to see some of the remains being brought to the surface and be able to see them. Football, well, it's getting a bit depressing now, isn't it? Mallorca are not doing very well. We stayed at home actually and watched them on the TV playing Sevilla. Great first half. Mallorca really on top of the game, dominated the game. Second half, they let in a goal. They let in a second goal, and it just not playing to their full ability. They should be doing much better than this. Should be scoring a lot more goals. Did actually get a consolation goal. Who scored it? Well, our substitute who came on, Abdon Prats, who's scored more goals than anyone else and played not as much time as many of the other players. So hopefully he'll be starting. We've got an important game coming up on Sunday. It's against Cadiz. Cadiz are right down there with us at the bottom, and really it's one of those matches that we've got to win. It's one we refer to as a 6-pointer, because our opponents lose 3 points and we gain 3 points, so it sort of helps to separate them. It's an away match, so it's not one we're going to be watching here at Son Moix. It's one we're going to have to go to a bar or watch at home. In fact, we'll probably go for the bar. Probably going to try a different bar this time, and hopefully next season the away matches we'll be able to watch at the Son Moix, where they're opening up a new Majorca cafe. I'm not sure whether it's going to be called Majorca Cafe anymore, but looks like we're going to have a great place to watch away matches as well as the home matches. Over the summer, hopefully Mallorca will be staying in La Liga, but I think we're going to see some changes in the players. One of the players that's been particularly disappointing is Larin. He's a player from Canada, Canadian player, international Canadian player who did so well last season with his former club, but came to us and has done so little, and it's been really disappointed. And it appears that Mallorca are going to be looking to see if they can offload him to another club and then strengthen our team elsewhere. Another one who I'll be very sad to see going is Samu Costa. Samu Costa's a great player, puts his heart and soul and everything into a football match. A great player, but he's only 23, and well, he may be moving to higher things in the summer. I think there'll be lots of other changes, and I'll report on those as I hear more of them. Well, a bit about the weather. Well, St George's Day came, and it brought with it not only the well, it didn't bring the flag with it. It brought the rain and the cold weather. In fact, it was so cold that there was actually snow on the top of the mountains. And I've seen photographs from Puigmayor with a little bit of snow on there. Not a lot, but that's how cold it was. And it's still only just warming up. As I'm sitting here on our terrace, it's 15 degrees. The temperature's supposed to be going up a little bit, and so later on this afternoon it should top out at about 17 degrees. And then as the week progresses, the temperature will go up, and hopefully we'll get some sun, and it'll feel a little bit warmer. Prospect for next week, though, at the moment doesn't look so good, and it looks as though we might have more rain on the horizon. So that's all for me, and well, thanks very much for watching. I hope you found this news interesting, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.